Love it. Rob, how are we doing today? Everybody, welcome to Hop on Calls. My name is Kevin Hopp. I am your hostess with the mostest, the cold calling man on LinkedIn. I have joining me today, Rob Turley. Rob, how you doing, man?
Fantastic. It's been a good day so far. It's been an interesting experience getting onboarded for this, but I think it should be a whole lot of fun.
I love that. Yeah. So it is a little bit different. We run this show in the most optimal way to try and get as many conversations as we possibly can. We do that with the help of our sponsor, Kixie. Shout out Kixie, your all-in-one business telephony solution. Lots of good solutions that Kixie has, including inbound calling, outbound calling, texting, deep integrations with CRM. But most importantly today, you and I are going to be using Kixie's Power Dialer, which is going to make many phone calls in a row for us to the right people, using features like Connect Boost. Connect Boost is a feature that's going to allow us to change dynamically the number that we're calling out from. We don't even have to lift a finger. It just happens. It's going to try to optimize what number will connect with what number based on where they are. A little local presence type feature. Huge shout out to Kixie. You guys need to check it out if you have not yet today. I always talk about cold calling is a few things. It is process. It needs to have structure, but there also needs to be technology. All right, process, structure, and technology. Rob, what's your background with cold calling for those in the audience that might not be super familiar with you?
So cold calling, yes. I never started cold calling until I was a C-level executive, actually, which is interesting. So I did not have a natural sales career. My background is all sorts of screwed up in many different ways. It doesn't make any sense. If I told you the story behind how it started, how it ended, it's like, how the heck did you end up where you ended up? But landed in RevOps. But cold calling, it started out of necessity. For a startup company that I founded, 4 years ago called White Rabbit Intel, which is no longer around. We're in the midst of selling the IP for that, or attempting to. But had to do it and found out that I absolutely loved it. And it's a whole lot of fun. So it's not for the faint of heart. And the conversations that you have need to have character and volume to them. How do you not get hung up on? How do you appeal to somebody who's in a leadership position to get them to talk to you? And I developed something called the curiosity method, where I have not called into the specific industry that I'm calling into right now, but it's worked across every other industry that I've worked with. But it's really organic, if you will. It's up to the person you're calling to have that conversation. It's not up to you. There's no force in it.
Okay. Very interesting. I'm excited to hear the method get put to the test. This is the holiday season, everybody. What does that mean? That means it is Christmas shirt season. If you guys tune in during the month of December, you're going to see me wearing all sorts of Christmas shirts because I'm a big Christmas guy. The irony of that is I married a Jewish girl. So we celebrate.
That's too funny. I came in a gray shirt, so I feel kind of bad about it.
Look, man, it's not even Christmas month yet, but post Thanksgiving is when I start decorating. We need to get up on the roof here one of these days and do the lights. Have not done that yet, but
just don't fall. That's the only thing you need to be successful at. If you don't fall and the lights are there, you're good.
Look, I am trying not to fall off a roof. That would be bad. So today, let's go over who we're going to be calling. So I'm going to be calling for my client, Uncommon Giving. Uncommon Giving has a platform that allows employers to enable their employees to give back to nonprofit causes that they care about. It's a really cool platform, really cool company. I'm helping them build an outbound motion. It's going really well.
Out of curiosity, real quick with them, is it something that integrates into the payroll processor?
I do believe so, but it also is something that you have an individual giving wallet, right? So it's not just in payroll. And that's important because what separates Uncommon from a bunch of other companies that do similar things is your Uncommon wallet travels with you, right? So the person. So if I work for, I'm working for Kixie today and then I get let go and I work for someone else the next day, your funds in Uncommon don't go away. They're not just tied to that payroll processor at that company, which is really cool.
Oh, that's really cool. I've never heard of one structured like that. That gives it a really large advantage of you could stay with. And the retention rate would be unbelievable at that point.
That's the idea. But the reason I'm making a second to highlight this is I'm calling HR professionals. What is today? Do you know what today is? It's the day after it's the day after Cyber Monday, which is called Giving Tuesday. Today's Giving Tuesday. And if HR folks are not wanting to talk about giving back, what's wrong with you? Come on, it's Giving Tuesday. You got to love that. Rob, who are you calling today?
So I'm calling for a company I'm working with called Chat Conversions. And what it is that we do, super simple solution. Embed a live chat that's fully staffed with human beings and managed on websites to drive sales conversion. Simple as that. Since the buyer's journey has been shifting and everybody's doing self-research because the majority of people don't want to talk to a salesperson anymore because of all the spray and pray spamming that's been happening.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get somebody to follow the natural buyer's journey of the self-research process and be well informed? Because when someone goes to your website, about 64% wind up in indecision. And since they wind up in indecision, nothing happens. Or they make no decision in the case of they don't have the questions answered that they need answered. So how do you give them a lifeline of a human being to talk to? And also, so when they hit that chat button, it's not a robot. Because if you're anything like me, you are absolutely and utterly pissed off the second it gives you an automated answer.
Right. I like that because it's the evolution of what we saw early on a few years ago, right? The rise of like drift in this conversational sales like methodology where it's like, yeah, have a chatbot talk to someone when they come to your website. It'll work. I think that trick is getting old, and chat conversions might be a bit of an answer to that, where you have a real live person with dynamic responses there.
Yeah. So the research behind that too. I mean, I worked in the artificial intelligence industry for quite some time and learned a lot about the people, the process, the technology. We're about 7 years out from GPT-3 contextual analytics to being able to mimic a human being for specific case scenarios in a way where it will fool anyone. And I'm talking people of even the lowest intelligence. You're not fooling anybody, and we're not even close to there. Human touch is so important to have.
Yeah.
So you can't just add a bunch of different sequences in there and expect somebody to be happy, because people ask very crazy questions. Even just, how are you doing today? It throws it for a loop. So how do we get people to engage in a way where they feel like they've been catered to? Not only, like, for example, through a subdomain in a ClickFunnels. If you have a human being to talk to where you're going through a ClickFunnels experience, that's unbelievable. If you have it on a website, great. If you have it on a product page, great. It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But there are a lot of cases where chatbots are ideal. Like, for example, you have it on a site to apply for a credit card. Same questions, same process every time, easily replicable, really on the rails. So you want to use a bot for that. It's a waste of human assets.
Sure. I believe that. Well, why don't we jump into it? Rob, who are you calling? You're calling on behalf of...
I'm going to be calling today SaaS leadership. That's CEOs, managing directors, as well as founders and people who hold maybe a revenue position in that. They could be mid-level founders, or they're the highest level, which is C-suite. So we're going to talk to those folks, and it's going to be companies between 200 to 1,000 in size. The reason I'm going for that is because they're in a massive growth mode, and there's a very high demand for them to perform during this time period, Q4. So how do we enable them to have something to equip themselves that will help them drive conversion through their website and feed their sales team qualified leads consistently?
Love that. Love that. With no further ado, I'm jumping into the queue, baby. Boom. Dial being made. Uh-oh. Audio is not supposed to play there. We had a little Bluetooth change. Hold on.
The subscriber you have dialed is not in service. Feel you've received this message in error, please hang up and try your call.
Rob, is that you?
Yeah, it's feeding to the wrong thing.
Oh, love that. We did tech check.
We literally just did all of it. Yeah, hold on. I'll fix it in a sec.
And it was all perfect. It was all going to the right places. And then
all right, we're back on track.
You got it in your ear?
Yeah. It wanted to refresh.
Mine just changed the output. I want to hear it in my ear. And by the way, everybody, if you guys want to hear both sides of the conversation, you certainly can. Just tune into the podcast. Hop on calls. Yeah, I was actually looking for Maria Speckman. Oh, okay. All right. Do you know, I had her down as someone who works in employee engagement. Do you know who handles that at Allison? Nice. And I can't get transferred to any of them, I guess. No, yeah, no worries. I'll find another way to reach out. Thank you, though. All right, bye. Retro. Gatekeeper. But Gatekeeper that said that everyone works remote, she can't transfer me to anybody. So that's annoying. Number one, because my data is supposed to be mobile. And we only have what we get here. So if it's not a mobile line and it's going to ring a Gatekeeper, that's what's going to happen. Are you dialing?
I haven't been any type of luck so far.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Shout out to Catherine, Jasper, Nick, Jamie, Chet from Los Angeles, California.
I'm calling cell phones too.
Yeah.
Should have a pretty good hit rate.
We shall see, man. Connect rates have gone down in general across most B2B functions. And that's why I'm really glad that we're going to get a lot done in a short period of time here, leveraging Kixie. Ooh, Chet has a good point. I saw that too, Chet, that Frontier got rid of their phone service. And now the only way to contact Frontier support is online. And I'm like, yeah, Frontier's doing everything they can to make sure Kevin Hopp never flies on Frontier. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
I mean, with Frontier Airlines, though, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cheap. Very cheap. You know, one of my life goals, Rob, is to... Sorry, I thought I had someone in my ear here. I do not. That's a voicemail. I thought that one of my life goals is to make enough money so that I can fly first class in business everywhere I go. Because I'm tall. You strike me as a tall guy too. We never met in person. Are you like 6'2", 6'3", or you not? Yeah.
I'm 6 foot.
6 foot. Yeah. So 6 foot plus dudes. When I get to sit in an airline seat that has leg room, it's like the best thing ever. But it's rare.
Yeah. That's why you always get the emergency row if you can. If you're flying, coach.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right. Well, we are hunting for conversations here. Rob, talk to me a bit about sequencing. Are you guys using sequencing? Meaning, are you taking multiple actions to a prospect as they go along in their perspective?
Yeah, multi-step cadences. Yeah. So we use email sequencing. I refuse to use LinkedIn sequencing in any way because it's just annoying. Just direct conversations, mostly lead gen through conversation in comments, actually. Comments generate more qualified leads for me than any other form of communication in LinkedIn. But yeah, just omni-channel. So give them a call, send them a connection request, and so on. You want to try to hit them in every single possible area, but we don't deal with SMS because it's too invasive.
Yeah, it's actually a good point about the SMS being invasive. You know, our sponsor, Kixie, does SMS, and I'm a huge fan of using SMS, not for ice cold. And that's my take. You know, like, don't use it for ice cold, but it can be a really powerful tool to follow up with people that you've already set a demo with. You set a demo with, and in between calls, there are a lot of valuable ways to use texting, but ice cold outbound. You know, one of the other things I always say, I've said this on webinars, I say it all the time, do some research on your own. Like, look up the FCC guidelines around contacting people via text message. It generally has to be opt-in. And for that reason, I don't really recommend doing it cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just that, texting is great in the sense where you can, so I'm trying to live for the up at the same time. Texting is great for follow-ups because if you text somebody, you become like their best friend. People text their friends, so you become friendly with them. But of course, always ask permission before doing so is what I suggest.
That is a good way to do it. Do you want to hear a good tip here? Here's a tip for you, for everybody out there. At the end of a set meeting, like a discovery meeting or a first meeting or whatever, if you don't know this person very well and you're not sure if you're going to be on a texting level with them, I use what's called the here's the pen trick. It's a quick little thing at the end. If it's gone well, I always ask, I say, hey, Rob, do you have a pen? And they say, no, but I got my laptop, I got my phone. What, or they say yes. Say, cool, take down my cell phone number. Then you give them your cell phone number. And what do they do back? They reciprocate. They give you their cell phone number. Then immediately, right after then, you text them and say, hey, cool, now we're connected via text. Really enjoyed it today. Look out for that email with the follow-up. You have that one-to-one communication. It takes the communication a level deeper. Hey, I was looking for Francisco. Oh, wait, hold on. Is this Carolina? Okay. Sorry, I looked in the wrong spot. Yeah, this is Kevin. I'm with a company called Uncommon Giving. Did I catch you with a minute to have a quick conversation here, Carolina? Oh, okay. Is there a better time to reach out? Well, it's Giving Tuesday. I'm with a company called Uncommon Giving. We help organizations similar to yours build structured giving programs. I was hoping to have a quick conversation about how you guys think about that.
Did you get hung up on?
Okay, so you guys partner with a local organization, but you guys don't have. Is there any sort of structured program to enable your employees to give to any nonprofit cause that they care about? Okay. Sounds like you're not open-minded to hearing about other ways of doing it. All right, Carolina. I'll talk to you later. Everybody. Carolina was busy. I kind of pushed for it. And the reason I pushed for the call is because connect rates are low, which is annoying. But Carolina, I'm taking a note here. Always take notes. Take notes directly in Kixie, syncs directly to my CRM. Carolina said they have their own nonprofit giving program.
Oh, so they're already using one.
No, so they said they partner with one local nonprofit, and this is actually really common, right? So
they part. Mm-hmm.
One of the other keys of outbound sales is understanding the universe in which your clients are living in, understanding their world, right? Like if cold calling was just calling and saying, hey, you looking to buy? Hey, you looking to buy? Hey, you looking to buy? Then we wouldn't need skilled people, But you need skilled people because you got to understand the world of your prospects. So I knew that her world had the possibility of having just one nonprofit partner where it's like, oh yeah, X Corp partners with, Susan G. Komen. And that's it. And that's when they do their giving. But one of the huge advantages in the way that Uncommon Giving, my client, is changing the way that people look at that is give to any nonprofit, not just the one down the street or the one that your CEO likes the most. So I knew that was an objection I could run into. But the reason she rushed me off the phone was not because she wasn't a good fit, not because she thinks that what she has is going great. She was busy. She was just like, I gotta go. Right? So I'm going to put this as a follow-up. And I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to send her a follow-up email highlighting what makes us different. And I'm going to call her back. Not today, tomorrow. I'm going to call her tomorrow and say, hey, Karen, sorry about that.
Because she was not willing to listen to what type of a difference it makes. Just like you said, if you partner with one charity or nonprofit, you only have that one. It doesn't give the option to your employees of who they want to give money to. It's just the default.
Right. That's right. How you doing?
Am I speaking with Matt Berry?
Oh, let's go.
Oh no, who am I speaking with? Oh, fair enough. Wow. It's interesting. You got human verified leads that took me to the wrong person.
Look, it happens. It happens to the best of us. Hey, shout out Chet. He knows that I'm tall AF. Chet and I don't live too far apart. He lives in the LA area. I live in San Diego. He was down here with his family, beautiful family. Chet's got kids coming out of his ears, man. He's got a baby. He's got a son who's about 3 years old, and he's built like a tank. He's got a daughter who's like 12. He's got lots of kids. Shout out to having lots of kids. Rob, you got lots of kids?
I don't have any kids, and I don't think I'm going to have any.
I love that. That's exactly.
Wouldn't be fair to the child because I work so much and I keep myself so busy. It wouldn't be fair to the kid, and I don't think I'm ready for that type of a thing. So,
look, man,
if I were to have kids, it would probably be by the time I'm like 40.
Well, having kids is a lot. I've got one, and it is a lot.
Oh no, I would assume I like kids. It's that. Hello.
Here we go. Come on.
Hey, am I speaking with Mike? Okay, fair enough.
Kevin.
I'm not going to shout out the data provider that I got this data from, but that was the second contact with the wrong number.
Yeah, let's not talk data. Let's not talk data. But hey, this is real, right? Like people tune into the show, they think it's going to be like this magical, like 17 conversations. Like if you're in the comment section right now, you probably have a similar experience when you go outbound. Why? Because data providers know that it's so easy to find Rob and Rob's email address, but it's actually really hard to find the right number for Rob.
So yeah, I mean, so all the ones that have gone to voicemail have been correct. It's too funny. Right.
So phone data is hard to get. Jamie Holt, 4Kid Club here. Whoa. Hey, Marissa. I was actually looking for Shauna. Shauna. Yeah, it's Kevin with Uncommon Giving. Come on. Hope I get transferred. Yeah, you want to put me through to her voicemail?
I have to admit, I'm mildly disappointed so far in myself. Well, in this list.
It's all right. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm going to keep going through.
We are not. We know that this happens, but we are here to get conversations. We are actually making live cold calls. You know, there are shows out there. Not going to name any names. You know, love all of our cold calling friends out there. There are shows where they basically call follow-ups and they're like, oh, I got 4 meetings. And it's like, if you call, they don't, and if there is no awkward, wait, who is this? Yeah. Oh no. If you don't have the awkward part, you know that they're not calling really cold, right? And cold calling is what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Success rates will speak to that 100%.
So you mentioned something while we were getting going here, Rob, that I wanted to circle back on. You mentioned the idea like the buyer's journey is changing.
Yeah. So the way the buyer's journey is shifting is that people generally don't want to speak to salespeople anymore, or less people do, to say the very least, because they've been so annoyed by all of the spam, all of the calls. I mean, it's kind of funny because we're calling right now, but calls are more personable.
We are
and they're
calling.
easy to avoid, right? Though, with all of the email messaging that's going out, people do not want to speak to salespeople because they feel like they're just going to be pitched to. The process is broken. SDR are not specialized in any way whatsoever, and that creates issues. Hold on a sec. That creates issues around being able to cater to the decision maker properly when you're having a conversation. Can you answer their questions? Are you specialized and understand their industry well enough to actually have a conversation with them and answer the questions properly, or help solve their problem? Or are they going to talk to somebody who's a robot pitching them, but is a human being form, right? So people are resorting to self-research in their process. They go to the website, they check it out, and then they wind up in indecision. It's either 64 or 68% of the time. I forget the stat. Why do they wind up in indecision? Because they have questions left unanswered. How do we cater to that? And how can we have conversations with them while they're going through that natural buyer's journey? And that's why I joined Check Conversions, because it gives them a human lifeline to have that conversation. I mean, your sales team could be reaching out, doing a really good job, but they still go on the website to do their own research and then come in as inbound. It happens all the time. How can you help bolster that is the idea.
Right.
How do you help follow that natural buyer's journey of self-research?
Totally. So I guess the reason I brought that up, it's cool Chat Conversions has a solution for this, but also how can folks that are watching this show, that are tuning in to learn more about outbound sales, how can they take that fact that people are doing more research and use that in their outbound?
Yeah, so take a more human approach. Instead of trying to do the mass generalized messaging, really segment your audience and become relevant to the person that you're reaching out to. Have a conversation, get to know them. If you're using LinkedIn, I tell people it's like a coffee shop. Are you going to walk up to somebody in a coffee shop in line and then just yell in their face, hey, do you want to buy my shit? No, they're going to tell you to go away. They're not going to want to talk to you. How do you get them to actually engage? You're going to ask them how their day was, or, hey, what's up? I'm Rob. Nice to meet you. Oh, yeah, I'm Frank. Nice to meet you, too. What do you do for a living, Frank? You're shooting the shit with them. And that is the goal. You want to be able to have that conversation, get to know them. That's what LinkedIn is for. LinkedIn, social selling is a very misleading term, because the goal of social selling is not to sell. It's to set meetings. Get to know somebody, establish rapport and trust, and then set the meeting to have that conversation. The meeting is for selling, not the social media. It does not give you the license to just pitch everybody all the time, which is why LinkedIn has put so many restrictions, because they never meant for it to be used that way.
I have to say that I completely agree. And the same rule applies to cold calling, right? And what I mean by that is cold calling is not just about calling to see, hey, you ready to buy my stuff? Ready to buy my stuff? Ready to buy my stuff? Have a conversation with somebody, right? And I think the process of cold calling, I'm going to use my whiteboard here to kind of illustrate this, right? So let's say if there's a timeline here. This is the meeting set, and this is the cold list, right? People tend to think that most of the time between I'm looking at a cold lead list of people that I want to sell to, your manager says, hey, Kevin, welcome to the job. Check this out. Here's your list of people that go. I want you to take this cold list and get meetings with them. And you say to yourself, awesome. I want to. Oh, let's go.
Hey, am I speaking with Vivek? How's it going, man? So my name's Rob Turley. I'm Chief Revenue Operations Officer over at a company called Chat Conversions, and I'd like to talk to you about how business is doing so far. How's it going this year? Chat Conversions. It's live chat for websites so that people can talk to actual human beings when they're buying stuff, right? Oh, for sure. Yeah. What about next year? All right. That was an interesting experience.
What's that?
He's heard of the company before, which rarely happens in our case, because we're pretty new. And he was like, well, we don't need anything right now because they're not looking for anything new at the moment. So he wasn't even willing to listen to it. I think he made the assumption of, I know what this is.
Yeah.
And I know what it does. But whether that's true or not is a whole different story. So also, the guy's based out of India. So a lot of those companies staff their own live chats because they have these tech companies have like entire armies of people on phones and on chats and on whatever else, because they pretty much have access to an entire call center at their disposal. Very common.
Right. Why not move into category language there then? Right. What I mean by category language is instead of saying, oh, you know what chat conversions is all about, you have that box checked. I'd say, awesome. So you have moved to optimize the experience when people come to your website, right?
That's great advice.
And then let them say, well, right? Because like I take the I'm not looking for change. I'm not looking to buy anything. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for the call. Hey, I'm good. Right? That's a cheap objection. We didn't really learn what he's doing. What is this business doing underneath the surface? And
yeah, he wouldn't answer the question.
Yeah, he wouldn't answer the question. So either way, good conversation. And I love that we're having conversations here. This is good stuff, huh? Boop-a-doo. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna get back in the queue while I'm teaching this little point here. My point is, most people think that if this is time, right? Time in terms of days. Hey, I was actually looking to. Hey, Sally, I was looking for Kelly. Kim? I don't. Oh, you don't? Shoot. I have her under people management, director of people. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. All right. Well, I'm on hold with this gatekeeper trying to find my target. Cold list to meeting set. There's an amount of time that every rep, every salesperson thinks should be allocated for this whole process, right? How does it work in most organizations? They take the cold list and they immediately, boom, right here, immediately take that cold list and just start taking actions to it, right? Like you just grab a giant list, you throw it into your email solution or your cadencing solution.
Hey, Todd, how's it going? This is Rob Turley. I'm Chief Revenue Operations Officer at a company called Chat Conversions. How you doing? So it's more of a partnerships call because we like to partner with different teams and different companies. So would you be open to anything like that as far as working with another team? Chat Conversions. What do you mean? So, okay, actually, let me explain. Yeah, so we partner with companies to work with them to help with either support with sales or business development via websites, or we work with them to work with the company's clients as a partner. Okay. How do you spell Bernstead? Yeah, I appreciate that, Todd. Big time. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Ooh, we got a hot take. Shane.
Yep, so that was good. Talked to Todd, and then after I spoke to him, because there's 3 different methods of way we could work with people. And with this company, what they're doing is marketing automation technology. And with marketing automation technology, a lot of different ancillary solutions are very helpful. So when you're creating a lot of demand, generating demand, what happens is that, and never ask how you are. How are you? I actually love asking that question, Shane. But he answered that question. It actually threw him to the side. And he was like, oh, you know what? Doing quite well, right? So he pushed me to their marketing team because after saying the 3 different methods of talking of how we work with people is that he said, talk to Stacy, and I'm not going to name her last name, in marketing. She's going to be the person to talk to, and it may be something we're open to type of a thing. So he just deferred me to somebody else within the company, which is not a negative. That is a positive, meaning that he didn't think that it was total nonsense, right?
No, it makes sense. So let's talk about this for a second. Shane's got a spicy take about worst opening ever. Never ask how they're doing. So you like asking how they're doing. Why is that?
I like asking how they're doing because nobody anymore asks you how your day was. It literally throws people like a curveball. They go, "Oh, well, I'm doing well."
Okay.
Right? Don't you wish more people walked up to you throughout the day and asked you how you were doing? But there's a lot of, just like Shane's saying, I'm not discounting what he's saying, because a lot of people who cold call will actually fight against that. They'll say, no, absolutely don't do that. Get to the point quickly. But that's not my style. When I, the Sandler method for cold calling, I am so insanely unsuccessful with that process.
Yeah.
Cannot do it. So with that case, I don't like making that direct approach saying, yes, this is a cold call, or trying to say something funny up front, not asking them how they're doing, but just asking for maybe like 10, 30 seconds of their time type of a thing. I've never seen any success with that. I've never set a meeting following that process. So I stay away from that. If that's something that you're good at, or if it's something, anybody in the audience, if it's something you're successful with, then keep on doing it.
Yep.
I have a very unorthodox process with cold calling. So keep that in mind.
I love that you said that. I cannot do anything but endorse what Rob just said there, right? Keep in mind, I am a cold calling, outbound sales, process structure, and strategy consultant. That's how I make every dollar that's in my bank account. And I teach every team I work with to open with, hey, this is Kevin with blank. How you doing today? Now, I have an entire methodology around why, right? The long and the short of it is, to your point, Rob, it's a bit of a pattern interrupt because most people don't ask how they're doing, right? Who else?
Yeah, they shove a product down your throat.
Right.
Or some sort of are you having this problem?
If you move too quickly, people identify very, very quickly that you're a salesperson, and they will end the call very quickly too. So that's what I've seen. But when your friends call you, they do ask how you're doing, right? And why do people pick up phone calls that they don't recognize in the first place? Why? The reason is they are curious. Who are you and why are you calling me? Who are you and why are you calling me? Now that we know that every single person that you cold call wants to know the exact same things, every single person, what can you do to use that to your advantage? Okay? You can open in the same way every time. And guess what comes back? Hey, this is Kevin with Uncommon Giving. How you doing today? I'm all right. Who is this? Where did you say you're calling from? Every single time. And their brain is literally doing this. I mean, they are literally going, I'm all right. Wait, who is this?
Hey, how's it going? Am I speaking with Alexander? Yes, this is Rob Turley. I'm CRO over at Shack Conversions, and I'd be open to discussing with you any sales or partnerships opportunities if that's something that you're looking to push toward. Oh, may I ask what? That's not interested.
Not interested. Love that. And
I'm trying a bunch of different things to see how the temp check for different processes looks.
I feel you. And before you made that call, I could have told you he's not interested. We know no one's interested. You're not calling to see if they're interested or not. You're calling to have a conversation, which makes it so tough, right? And you're trying different intros, but this is it. This is the raw bleeding edge of outbound. I love that we're doing this together, Rob. But my whole shtick, wrapping that up about how you doing today, is if you get people thinking and wondering, do I know this person? They're going to stay on the line longer. They're going to be more inquisitive. And then you can clear the air immediately after that and say, yeah, my name's Kevin. I'm with Uncommon Giving. And in their head, they know, I don't really know a Kevin at Uncommon Giving. I've never heard of Uncommon Giving. But we can then clear it and say, hey, look, I know I'm an interruption. Do you have a second? I can explain exactly why I called, right? Because once you tap the first one, which is who are you? All right, now they know who you are, but they don't really know you. So now there's like a little bit of alarm bells. You got to get to number 2, which is why are you calling? Who are you? Why are you calling me? Everybody wants to know those 2 things. Use it to your advantage. Ding goes the dinner bell. I like it. Wow. Shane's got a lot to say here. Shane, you got a lot to say from the sidelines, man. When are you coming on Hop on Calls?
Yeah, it's a good point. No, Shane is I know him personally. He's a very, very talented cold caller. I wouldn't discount anything that man says as far as different strategies. Man's had more phone calls to his name than almost anybody I know.
I love that. So I don't know Shane. So I would welcome you on my show. Slide in my DM, Shane. Let's coordinate this. I love that you have a lot to say about cold calling. But as always, my show is a little different. What we do is we demonstrate. We lead from the front. I'm happy to have you on. Legit. Looks like I'm going to have him on. This is going to be good.
Oh, yeah. No, he's going to be good. Yeah. His partner, Antoine, is also pretty incredible with it, too. They've got a very talented team.
Exciting. Well, I'm still ringing in my ear over here. Oh, let me wrap up this point, right? You have a cold list, you want to get meetings. Most people cold list and right away start taking actions over time to try and get to the meeting set. Well, I'm a huge advocate for using process and structure to make it so you're doing way more time. You take more time. Hello? Hey, is this Renee? Renee, how you doing today? Kevin with Uncommon Giving. Did I catch you with a second to have a quick conversation? I could hear the hesitation in your voice. I will be very... Yeah, it's the name of our company. It makes sense. We're a bit of a startup organization, been around for a few years here, but it's Giving Tuesday, so I thought today was just as good as a day of any to reach out and have conversations with folks about giving back. So, Renee, the reason I was reaching out to you in particular, we partner with people leaders like yourself that are trying to build a value-driven employee experience by enabling their staff to give back to nonprofits in their community. Renee, I'm curious, would you say you're satisfied with how much of your staff participates when you have giving back initiatives? Oh, okay. Well, are you still at ETIC? Okay. I totally understand that you're trying to establish things, getting the lay of the land, and you're new to the role. Let me share with you what we've been seeing. What we've been seeing when we talk to organizations, big and small. By the way, we work with organizations as small as 5 people all the way up to 5,000. But when we're talking to organizations big and small, we're hearing that value-driven employee experience actually becomes a key part of employee engagement in general. So it's not just does the corporate level want to do giving back, it's enabling your employees to give both time and money to the causes that they truly care about on an individual level has massive benefits outside of just the pro-social component, right? Of course, it's a good thing to do. It's Giving Tuesday. Everyone's thinking about it today after Cyber Monday, and my credit card is red hot from being swiped so many times on the internet. I don't know about yours, but I'm just curious when it comes to employee engagement and building that value-driven experience. Maybe we should have a high-level conversation about how we fit something like this into your strategy for 23. Yeah. Would you be okay if we pencil something in? Because what I'd hate to do is get in a line of vendors all knocking on your door. What's that? Okay. Do you want me just to call you back starting then? Okay, cool. All right, Renee, have a great rest of your day. All right, bye. Oh, Renee.
That sounded great. What happened?
Well,
hey, how's it going? Hey, Ricky. So, quick question for you: is your company open to partnerships by any chance? Ricky, are you still with me? Oh, it disconnected. What happens on the system if you get a call back?
It will ring.
Because I feel like she might call back because she disconnected like mid.
Yeah, it does ring, but for the sake of the show, I don't know. You can try answering it if you want. I've actually gotten 1 or 2 callbacks while we're on here, but I want to be so part of like my cold calling philosophy is I want to be in the driver's seat, meaning I want to know who I'm calling exactly for what and why. When the phone rings and I don't know who's calling back right away, I'm like, oh shoot, like who is this? You know what I mean? Like, and then they're gonna say, like, what do you do when you call a number back? You're like, hey, who is this? I got a missed call from you. What's this about? And you're like, well, shoot, I need some context on who you are to make that. So
yeah, you're just like,
yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and so for that reason, I tend to not take the callbacks right away. So I just sent a follow-up over to Renee. So, Renee hit me with an objection that I'm sure people are hearing right now, which I tried to overcome but wasn't able to, right? The objection was, not right now. She said, this sounds cool. I'd like to talk about this. And then the first thing she said, Rob,
hey, how's it going?
Ooh, there we go.
Hey, can you hear me? Hey, how's it going? Oh, this is Rob Turley calling from a company called Chat Conversions. So live chat for driving sales or driving web conversion. So throw it on your website. Actual human beings are people that your prospects who visit your site can talk to as much as they'd like. So that way they can have questions answered. With the shift of the buyer's journey of how people don't want to talk to salespeople anymore, it's really good for that. Everybody does self-research, and then what they end up doing is going to the website and winding up an indecision. Are you having issues with any type of sales development right now? Okay. Okay, no problem. So he wants me to call him at a different time because he was busy. I heard scanning in the background, so he was probably at the grocery store.
Look, people answer the phone in weird situations. They always will. It blows my mind.
Especially when you're calling mobile phones, though. It's because the phone rings in their pocket, they pick it up. He sat there, listened to that pitch, right?
Yeah.
And then said, so not right now, but actually call me at a different time if you don't mind.
Yep. No, that's good. That's good. Not now is a great alternative to right now. And this is another thing about like cold calling is not always going to get you the meeting, but guess what? Cold calling gets you the first touch, and guess what gets you the meeting? It's the follow-up, right? So I've got 2 or 3 follow-ups hot coming from this session. You've got 2 or 3 follow-ups hot coming from this session. This comes back to my point here around if you have a cold list, trying to get meetings, instead of just putting all your time and effort into making calls to them all the time, use a process and a sequence.
Hey, how's it going? Am I speaking to Caitlin?
There we go.
This is Rob Turley. I'm a CRO over at Chat Conversions, and I was wondering if you guys were open to partnerships by any chance. Over at a company called Chat Conversions. Sure. So, really simple solution. Since the buyer's journey is shifting and everybody's doing self-research, right? Nobody wants to talk to salespeople anymore. I know I don't. And meanwhile, But anyway, we throw a live chat on a site so people can talk to actual human beings, have questions answered immediately, because the difference between someone winding up an indecision or converting is usually about 1 or 2 burning questions. For sure. Cool. Bye-bye.
They hang up?
No. I think we're good for now. Was the outcome on that.
I think we're good for now. Interesting. So what I've noticed, Rob, is you're jumping into a lot of specifics about what your product does and letting them say, do you want it or not? Have you thought about going about it by saying, hey, I was hoping to have a conversation about how you're converting leads that come to your website. What are you guys using for that today? And just getting the ball.
Sure, I can try that.
I mean, that's my idea. I don't know. Right. Because like I'm all about the idea of the conversation. I want this back and forth nature. Like what I have with Renee just now is super back and forth. And guess what? The only reason I didn't get that meeting is because it's Q4. So the first objection she said was, call me next year. And I said, a year from now, and then
hey, how's it going? I'm speaking to Gilbert.
Oh, that's connects. Love this.
Yes, this is Rob Turley, CRO over at Chat Conversions. So I'm curious. I'm fantastic. How's your day going so far? That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So if you don't mind, if I ask you a question, so since I specialize in conversion specifically, I'd like to know, what are you doing to increase your website's conversion? Do you have any strategies around that, out of curiosity? Oh, for sure. Who would be responsible, if you don't mind me asking? Sure. Which division do you think marketing would be a safe bet? So what does your day-to-day look like? What are you responsible for, if you don't mind me asking? Right. So when you're working with clients, do you like implement the solutions architecture or the architecture into different products that they're using? Or is it more of like a singular approach of integrating your product into their existing systems? Okay, so what kind of people do you talk to in that case? Because I know a lot of cloud providers myself, and I may be able to give you a referral. Oh, okay. So you wouldn't want more leads in that case? Because I have someone in mind that may be a good intro. Oh, do you have the person who I would talk to set up that conversation between the person in my network, you guys? Okay, for sure. Would you mind texting me as an update? If you could, you take my cell number? Right. Yeah, I'm calling you through a landline though. So if you could, would you be open to taking down my mobile? Okay, for sure. So it's +1 845 746 6090. I really appreciate that, my man. Yep. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye. So what did I do? What did I do just there?
I don't know. You tell me. Explain.
Okay, so spoke to him. He is not the person in charge for what I wanted to talk about. So he's the head of solutions architecture, right? So he integrates systems between his clients himself, and he works in the partnerships area of that. So he's helping connect those people, and he's fed leads from the marketing team. So what I did was ask him what his day-to-day looks like. From what his day-to-day looks like, who is he working with, and then who's feeding him whatever business or processes that he's working with. Then offering referral, because I've got an abundance of cloud architecture and cloud solutions connections in my network that I talk to every day. So saying, okay, are you open to me passing you somebody as far as a referral? Because I had a couple of people in mind, which I do. And he said, well, no, that would have to still go through the marketing team. I'm not responsible for that. So I said, okay, great. Well, who feeds you the leads in the marketing team? Oh, well, I should talk to them first. Well, in that case, you should text me. So I gave him my cell number, my personal cell number, and then he's going to text me. Solutions architects and engineers don't like talking on the phone. They prefer to text people, or they prefer some sort of messaging-based platform. It's really hard to get them to reach out. But in that case, what I did is flip it onto him to make it his responsibility to make the introduction to the marketing team, which is ultimately where I want to end up.
I love that. A non-traditional.
But ultimately, what I'm trying to do too is that, well, I'm going to take this company, take note of it, and then I'm going to reach out to the marketing team and then tell them that I spoke to Gilbert.
There we go.
Yeah,
I like that. It's a roundabout way of getting a referral. Offering someone a referral is pretty non-traditional, I would say. But I love that you did.
Well, people also, in the case where, oh no, I'm not responsible for that, a cold caller would generally hang up. Well, you can get in to other parts of the company through somebody who's deeply tied to and connected to their process.
That's right. I completely agree with you. One of the other concepts that I talk about when I coach outbound teams is the goal is not just to get the meeting, but it's to go from 0 to something with everybody, right? Like from 0 to something. What does that mean? I mean from 0 to, okay, now I understand this guy's role in the organization. I understand who he reports to and how it works, right? Like we have to understand something that we don't know when we just look at their name on a spreadsheet. Because when you look at the name on the spreadsheet, I could just say, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. We want to sell to them. Go set a meeting with them. That's what everybody does. It's this, right? Everybody out there gets a list and they were looking to get meetings set over a set period of time. This time can be cut down by process, structure, and technology. But a lot of people are going at it every single day out there. And believe me, if you're watching this right now and you're hand dialing, I'm with you. I used to be there. At one point in my career, I was dialing one by one. That's how I got so obsessed with this and getting good at it and having a lot of conversations in a short period of time. But I guess my whole point here is we want to learn about people's businesses, right? You just had a business conversation, Rob. That's huge. That's huge. That's a win. It's a big win, but it's not a meeting set. But that's okay.
Yeah, and he never said that they don't need something.
That's right. That's right. We're playing a long game here. Awesome.
So I apologize to Kixie ahead of time. I knew they were going to build a report around this. I accidentally clicked end session and then started it again. So you're going to have to take both and then figure that out. So when you build a report, you got 2, not 1. That was a fun conversation, though. It's if you understand how a business works, it makes it easier, especially if you call the wrong person or they're not the person in charge who you thought, is being able to understand their day-to-day.
Understanding their day-to-day is huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you may learn something about their business in what they do that can give you more leverage of what it is that you're trying to sell based on how a business connects.
100%. 100%. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, man. We should start wrapping up because we are just about at the end here.
Sure.
For folks that are watching and want to connect with you, learn from you, what's the best way to do that?
So, yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to do that. It's linkedin.com/IN/the-RevOps-Hitman. Or you can shoot me an email at rob@chatconversionspro.com, or you could just hit me up on my cell, 845-746-6090. Do not add me to a freaking lead list because I gave you this number publicly. Thank you.
Yeah, to Jamie's point here, you're about to get a bunch of phone calls.
Oh, yeah. Funny guy. Actually done it before on live shows, given my number. It has not happened, shockingly. So I will continue to do it until it does.
Look, I like that. So I used to have a podcast called the Sales Career Podcast where I interviewed really cool people and some like high up, executives, VCs, people like that I had on my show drop their cell phone number at the end of the podcast. And I'm like, dude, if you're a sales pro out there and you're looking to like network and you're looking to grow your circle and you're looking to like learn from real people who have done it, there's no better way to do that than like going and getting content like the Sales Career Podcast, like Hop on Calls, like other things like that, where people are actually talking about what they do.
You know, one of my favorite things in the world is flipping cold callers. Like, so they say, oh, well, I'm just an SDR. Just they're discounting their value to the company. That is the beating heart and soul of a business, is because you need to sell in order to have customers in the first place. So what I do is an ego stroke on that, give them some consulting on how they could have improved their pitch to me. And then I say, well, do you need something like this? Are you getting fed leads properly? I mean, are they giving you anything, or are you just reaching out blindly? Like, how's that going? Maybe I can refer you to somebody who can help, or perhaps we can end up working with you instead.
Yeah.
And then I have a pretty high success rate of that flip working.
Really?
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I love hearing that, Rob. Here's the numbers. We didn't get any meetings today. We both had about 4 conversations, but I dialed a lot more people than you did. I did a little lead list change midstream, and that actually helped me. But as always, process, structure, and strategy are required to have good conversations and set good meetings. We've reached the end of our time. Rob, thank you once again, man. This has been really, really fun. I appreciate you. And to everyone else out there, tune in next week. Let me do a little drop here. A little drop for next week's episode, which we have coming up. So check that out. Where is that one? Here it is. Boom. Next week's episode with the one, the only, Donnie Boyvin. It's going to be incredible. All right, Rob.
Yeah. And then on the 7th of the 8th, I'll be hosting as one of the subject matter experts and the judges for the Hype Cycle B2B competition. So
love that.
That's another live free event that people can enjoy.
Love that. That is huge. And guess what? Shane just booked with me for January 31st. So everyone come check that out.
Shane's going to freaking kill it, man. I know it.
I know. I'm excited. All right, Rob. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right.